Man is live. Thank God for life, health, and strength. Thank God for all of you cyber friends. You know who you are. This is special broadcast that I'm coming back tonight on to do. I had the last time I did this year yard stream. I think that's what the program is called. Those of you, if I'm saying it wrong, just bear with me. Um, I had my sister Jennifer in here with me on the last time that I was in here, and she said it was very, very good. And so right now, I started a special broadcast. This is um, from yours truly, the Midiman. And I just got a few things that I would like to share. I see that I do have one person inside of the lobby. Um, I'm going to say hello. I'm not certain which one. I'm going to say hello, and we're going to go on and get right on into the meat and potatoes of what I wanted to do on this here special broadcast. I was going to do it as a test, quote unquote, Bible study, as well as make a few other announcements as well. Uh, let me let me let me say this here straight up from the bat. This that is one thing that we need to that I'm going to try to get Yardstream to do, and that is to fix the interface of this here program. I think it's a very good program, but it needs to fix the interface, whereas the moderator can see who's in the chat room. Because, like I say, unless you send a message and type it in the chat, I don't never know who's in the lobby. If it's 10 or if it's 20. Or unless you type something, I will not know who's in the chat room. Like right now, I don't know who's. I see that there's one person in the chat room, but I don't see anything in the chat window. So therefore, I don't know who you are. But at any rate, we're glad to have you. And we are saying that this here, like I said, was a special broadcast that I wanted to do in sort of like a double celebration of my cable connection being back, right? It was nothing, never wrong. That's just going to show you how Salem works, people. There was nothing never wrong with my cable connection, but it was the cable router that I was using that was the culprit. The Wi-Fi portion of the router had shot, so therefore I wasn't getting on through. I wasn't getting through on the net, and it made me think that my main modem was out, but it was never my main modem at all. And that is a blessing in disguise, if you will call it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm celebrating with this here and on doing another live broadcast. I did one on the other night or the other morning. I'll be up. My hours are so messed up. I'll be up all night, part of the night, and I'm doing something at all times. But nevertheless, I think it was Sister Jennifer that was in here on the last time I did this here on this broadcast or using this here platform, which I believe that it's going to be one of the better ones. It's called StreamYard. I think that's what it's called. And I think I told everyone I did give my buddy House of Jazz, Mr. Richard Butler, I gave him the accolades, in other words, the credit for introducing me to this particular program. And he was the one that introduced me to it and told me about it. And I immediately went and I went and signed up and got me, my email address and everything. That's all you have to do. It's all cloud based. Everything's in the cloud. You don't have to install no software to make it run and whatnot and everything. So that is basically one of the reasons why I wanted to come back and do this here test. It's not really a test because I know that this is wrong, but I wanted to do it in a celebration of having my cable connection back, and I wanted to do a impromptu Bible study on tonight. and just to touch base with my cyber friends, as well as my group members, and some of them I know. I got one or two members that will be able to see this here uh, video, because it will be posted to it's streaming live on YouTube, and there will be an archive of it, so they will see it. And well, the Bible study portion of the night's broadcast is what I wanted to do and say. Um, we was when we think about a lot of time, I did a video about this here not too long ago about reaping what you sow. And that is a true statement. That is God's sense of humor. God got a great sense of humor. And that is his sense of humor. You reap what you sow. In other words, whatever that you plant, believe me, it is going to grow. And from the other night of Bible study, I thought about it, and about Esther, about how wicked Haman, how he plotted against the Jewish people. He did not know that Esther herself was Hadassah. That was her name. That was a Jewish name. Esther was her I guess you would call it her Babylonian name, if you wanted to put it like that, because this was in Shushan. This was the king of Ahasuerus. In other words, the children of Israel had been brought to Babylon, and they had been taken away to Babylon, where they spent 70 years of exile because they did not keep God's Sabbaths and let the land rest. And this is why they was in. This is how come they were in Babylon in the first place. Nevertheless, Haman, he decided that he would put a plot. There was a guy in the kingdom named Mordecai. Mordecai was Esther's cousin. A lot of preachers, a lot of teachers of the gospel will tell you that that was Esther's uncle, but that was not her uncle. Mordecai was Esther's cousin. And the plot was Haman, he couldn't stand Mordecai because, see, Mordecai didn't bow down to him like everybody else did. Mordecai refused to bow to him. And that is just the way a lot of us are. We want people to bow down to us, and we want special accolades, and some people will lick and lap people. But see, Midiman, I ain't never been that type of person. I don't lick and lap nobody. Now, I give people honor where honor is due. Yes, I would do that. But no, my worship and bowing down don't belong to you. It belongs to God only. My worship and bowing down belong to only the King of Kings, number one. But this man, Haman, wicked Haman, we would call it, he made a plot. He couldn't stand Mordecai because Mordecai would never bow to him. And no matter if all the other people in the kingdom were doing the bowing down, but he couldn't stand it just because that one man would not bow to him. He would not bow down to him. And that was the Haman's downfall. That became Haman's downfall because of the fact that he could not let it go. And then, brothers and sisters, I tell you, this thing, all of us could take a lesson from Haman. When we doing our little dirty deeds, thinking you're hurting people, and you mean it for evil. But I'm going to tell you something, my brothers and sisters. God is looking right at you. And guess what? God is laughing at you. You know why? Because your day, God sees that your day is coming. Oh, yes, sir. You can, I don't care who you are. Once you dig a ditch, you're in it. You have to be in the ditch in order to dig it. I've never seen nobody dig a ditch standing on top of the ground. You got to get in that ditch and be in it in order to dig it. God sees that your day is coming. And nevertheless, Haman, he had it in, he had a good thing with the king, King Ahasuerus. In other words, I'm saying that kind of in a mishappy way, y'all, right now. Old Midiman got to get him some tea very, very soon. I got to get some made. King Ahasuerus, in other words, we'll just call him that. He had made Haman sort of like his right-hand man. And Haman thought he had it going on. All this is in the book of Esther, y'all. You read it. And this is how come I want to do this here extra special broadcast tonight, so I can take up where I left off on Tuesday night on the Bible study. To go into more detail about Haman to let y'all know exactly how this thing transpired. You see, Haman was sort of like King Ahasuerus' second-hand man. In other words, he had King Ahasuerus' signet ring. And those of you that know anything about a king and a kingdom, and when you got the king's signet ring, it's just like it was when Joseph went into Egypt, and he was second in command to next to Pharaoh, and he had the king's ring. That means that was everything with his signet ring on. That was a power. That was a point of a great authority, very much authority. Meaning he was second in rule, in charge. And Haman loved that. Haman loved it. Oh, he had the people in the kingdom bowing down to him, and he just usurped all that praise and that worship, which only belonged to God. But at any rate, he could not get Mordecai to bow. Just like the same kingdom in the Babylonian kingdom that King Nebuchadnezzar, he couldn't get the three Hebrew boys, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, to bow down to the sound of the music of his big image that he had made. Throw them into the fiery furnace, but guess what? The fire burned everything that bound them off, but it didn't burn them. In other words, God got right in the fire with those boys. And I tell y'all this tonight, take it from Midiman, God will get in the fire with you. But if you stop being flaky and being just going along with everything just because you are afraid of what somebody gonna say about you, or afraid of somebody ain't gonna like you, forget who ain't gonna like you. When it comes to doing what's right, you do what's right. Forget about who ain't gonna like it. You do what's right, and God will take care of you. And this is exactly what he did in the case of Mordecai, as well as the case of the Hebrew boys and Daniel. Daniel also was thrown in the lion den in Babylon. All this took place in Babylon. Queen Esther and Mordecai and the Hebrew boy and Daniel, all of them were in Babylon. It was in the Babylonian kingdom. In other words, and matter of fact, the Iranians had taken over to a degree. You could say, well, modern day Babylon at that particular time is really what we would call, in the day's term, modern day Iran. This is the same kingdom, the Iranians over there to this very day, what is giving Israel so much trouble, are the same one that we are speaking about in the land of Haman and Mordecai and during that Bible study. It's the same kingdom. But nevertheless, Queen Esther, she became to be the queen in a very, very supernatural way. Y'all, God is always going to have his way. Don't you know that? If you don't believe God is always going to have his way, I dare you to ask Jonah. Jonah had to go to Fish University. He had to go to Whale University in order before he could figure it out. But nevertheless, God still had his way. And when after Jonah was going to run away from God's will, what he thought he was doing, when he was spit up on the shore, God had changed his mind. He told him to go to Nineveh. The message was still the same. So you might as well do what God tell you the first time. Don't let him have to tell you again, because he ain't going to change. The Lord said, I am the Lord and I change not. So if he told me to do something 30 years ago, guess what? If I didn't do it yet, he's still waiting on me to do it. God does not change. So in other words, we see here, old wicked Haman, he couldn't get Mordecai to bow. And it ate him up. He went and told his wife and kids, his sons, and everything about that Jew, that Mordecai the Jew will not bow, and he was going to figure out a way to get rid of it. So old wicked Haman plotted up a plot not only get rid of Mordecai, he plotted up a plot to get rid of the whole Jewish nation, to kill them all. All right? Haven't we seen that Jewish mentality over the years? The Nazis tried to distinguish all the Jewish people. A lot of people have tried to destroy the Jewish people off the face of the earth. But God has always been with them. And as we see, even to this very day, the Iranians are yet making threats against the Jewish people, talking about they want to blow them off the face of the planet. And believe you me, if they will do it, give them the chance, they will try to do it. But we glad of one thing, God is still in control. God got Israel in his hand, as well as all of us. So we see here that wicked Haman, God that let him went on, and I want y'all to notice one other thing, and I want you to notice something, that if you read the book of Esther, God is never implied in that whole book, but God is working. I mean, a lot of people don't even realize that. But if you read the book of Esther, you don't see nowhere in there where it implied that God's name ever is mentioned. As far as God intervening with anything, he let everything work out. He just let it pan out. But God was in the background. God was working in the background. In other words, Haman, with his wicked plan, had planned that a day where all the Jews would be exterminated. And he was going to get the king, and he tricked the king to a degree. He tricked the king into doing it because he thought that he was going to get Mordecai and all of them in the process. But then the king went to reading some of the chronicles of the kingdom. And the king ended up reading something about Mordecai. And Mordecai had been responsible for saving the king's life at one time. And the king didn't know this. And when he read the chronicles, in other words, for those of you that may not know what it means about the chronicles, that just means reports, records. Is records that was kept by the kingdom. Everything was always recorded. In other words, in our modern day time, we would say like the news, but now you can't believe nothing the news say because they tell lies too. But these were accurate records that was kept in a kingdom about the different kings and the people that was in charge and things that went on in the kingdom of very great nature, of great importance. And they was always keep the records of this. And these chronicles that the king read himself about Mordecai. And he wanted to know who was this Mordecai and where was this Mordecai if he still existed. Guess what? He called in Haman. And the king did it in such a real good way. He said, Haman, what would be done for the man that the king wants to honor? In other words, Haman thought he was talking about himself. And he said, oh, king, what you would do, I would get a horse and put him on a big white horse and put a kingly robe on him and a scepter in his hand and let him be led through the streets and one who honored the king. Oh, man, Haman has dressed it all up real good because he thought he was the one that was going to get this honor. And so when he got through saying all the different stuff, what need to be done for that one that honored the king, he said, okay, make this happen for the man called Mordecai. He said, make it happen for Mordecai. See God in the work. When you dig a ditch, you in it. God, now Haman, the man that he hated, oh, this is the one that the king wanted him to celebrate. And then Haman had to take him through the streets and do it himself. Now, don't you know Haman was mad and frustrated because the very man that he hated so, he had to parade him around in the street and tell the people, yield to the one that the king is most respected of. In other words, giving Mordecai all this glory and all this praise. Haman had to end up doing just that. All right, people, let me show you God in the work now. Not only did that wasn't enough for Haman, Haman still wasn't satisfied. He was still going to get his way by the extermination of all the Jews. Well, here we go again. Haman didn't know that Queen Esther, the king's wife, was also a Jew. He didn't know that. Esther knew she was a Jew. The king didn't know. Haman didn't know. And so the way that Mordecai got the message to Queen Esther, say, Esther, if you don't do it, God will find somebody else to deliver his people by. But it will be bad for you if you don't do it. Who's to know that you didn't come to the kingdom for such a time as this? And then that's when this thing started turning. Mordecai, oh man, Mordecai got Esther the message in the nick of time. And then when it all boiled down to, Esther invited Haman and the king to a banquet. She finna go on and solidify. She finna tie it up now. Haman finna get messed up. Haman finna get messed up. And so when the banquet was over, Haman was exposed by Queen Esther that he was a wicked Haman that wanted to kill her and her people. She revealed to King Ahasuerus that she was also Jew. And if this edict be carried out, then she would have to die too, because she was a Jew herself. Well, you know King Ahasuerus wasn't going to have that. He was crazy about Queen Esther. And so what ended up happening? My brothers and sisters? Haman, on the gallows that he had built for Mordecai to be hung, he was hanged. From the gallows that he built for Mordecai, he was hanged from his own gallows, as well as his own son, and his whole family was destroyed. Because people, when you dig a ditch, you already in that ditch. And you better mind how you mess with God's anointing. When people ain't done nothing to you, it's best for you to leave them alone, if you know what's good for you. Because all this dirt throwing and you trying to hurt them without a cause, trying to do all your little old bit of stuff, thinking you doing something. You are doing something. You put nails in your own coffin and you don't even know it. Because you cannot mess with God's anointed and think you're going to be unscathed. Now, I just wanted to say that tonight. And God knows Jesus came that we might have life and that we may have it more abundantly. And it looks like to me that some of us, either we don't realize it or don't care, but we just keep on digging ditches and keep on causing havoc for people that haven't done you nothing, none of the above. In other words, people that haven't done nothing to you, haven't done you no harm in no kind of way, but trying to live in peace with you, trying to do the things which are right. But yet and still, you got some of us that yet and still gonna be, I guess what you call it, nothing else to call it but just call it like it is, just be a jackass. Believe it. That's a that. And you will pay for it. you will pay for it. Believe it. God is not mocked. Be not deceived. For whatsoever man sow, that shall he also reap. God mean that, people, good or bad. So what we need to do, y'all forgive me, I did say that I thought about it. I forgot to turn that old notification off because I'm quite sure sometimes that'll get annoying to hear that beat in your ears if you're listening to this here or whenever you listen to it. But nevertheless, that's that old notification, and I'm gonna try. I keep them on for a certain reason because I do want to know about certain things, but a lot of it I really don't even care to know about it. A lot of it, but sometimes that's the necessary evil. You have to take something in order to get the best of others. But at any rate, as I was saying, the God's sense of humor. God got a great sense of humor, and we see that with Haman's hatred for the Jewish people and his hatred for one man caused him to lose his life and his family. All his family was killed as well. And the number 2 man went to nothing just about in one night. In one night, he went from here. In other words, they used to say, you jump out the frying pan to jump in the fire. That's exactly what happened to our brother Haman. So people, old Midiman, gonna leave this with you with this special broadcast of this here particular, I should say, an extended Bible study. Mind how you do, and mind how you mess with people. Because see, number one, we shouldn't be doing evil anyway. But you better be careful when you do evil against God's people, because that's a that. And it's going to come back, and it's going to be to your worst nightmare. It's going to be to your detriment. You do not touch God's anointed in no kind of way. Just because you may not understand what they're doing, you better leave them alone. You better believe God's anointed alone. David was God's anointed. Yeah, David did a lot of stuff. David did some stuff, but he was still God's anointed. Look what happened to all of David's enemies. Huh? You better mind. You better mind. And I'm just saying this here, I ain't trying to scare nobody, but I'm just telling you, you better mind how you treat God's people. And the thing about it, you don't know who God's people really are. Because anybody can act. So you better be careful about that. Just because people are acting in a certain way, that don't mean nothing. But therefore, you should treat people right, period. Because you don't know. You don't know. I don't know whom God has laid, whom God has called in his own divine purpose. I can't say who God won't use. If God can talk to the mouth of a jackass, I'm quite sure he can use me. I know he can. So what we need to do, we need to stop going around digging ditches and trying to cause people trouble that ain't did nothing to you. That's what I'm saying. And Midiman is going to end this here video right here. We're going to say thank God that I got my cable connection back, and I never really lost it, and I'm glad of that. I mean, if I decide to get me another Wi-Fi router, I might just leave it alone. I might just use my cable connection straight wire like I'm doing now. I got my Linux box on it, and I got my laptop here that I'm doing this video on it right now. I may just let it stay like that. I may not even go Wi-Fi no more with my cable connection. Then let it stay as it is, as long as everything working. And I got DSL that I can check my broadcast on Tuesday night when I do the live stream. I can change over and do that and everything. It will be just fine. So we want to say that we thank all of you, your cyber friends. You know who you are. You're my close circle, the close inner circle. You know who you are as well. And like I said, to solidify what I spoke on the other night when Sister Jennifer was in, I'm going to say it again on tonight, that for some of you others that might go and check out the video and see this video, you will know that Junior Walker and the Gospel Tritone, like I told y'all on Tuesday night, we did decide that we would make a gospel Christmas EP. It's going to consist of between 3 and 5 tracks. We're gonna have physical CDs as well as we're gonna upload, and we're gonna do a digital distribution as well. I got to check out my old platform that I used when I first started doing the music on the net with Sister Kate when she tried to get my very first track that I ever done on the net to distribute over the net. It was Sister Kate that stuck with me all the way through, and she got the track from Nimbus. In other words, I got to go back to Nimbus and see. I know my account's still there because I was there not too long ago, but I did not know and realize that I was going to really try to do another project with them. I was going to just kill it, but I'm glad I did now, and I'm hoping that it's still in action. But that's where the project, that's where the project will be. The digital product will be with Nimbus if I can still use it. If not, I will find another way in order to get it distributed digitally. So all of you that may want to order the CD, that way you will be able to do it, and it should be a very, very easy process through PayPal. And I think, I'm quite sure Nimbus did do it through PayPal. Once you paid in PayPal, you got a code that you could download the track. No questions asked. It was very, very easy to do. So y'all just look out for that. Now, like I said, these tracks, I am looking forward to them being a whole lot better. And I'm really saying this to my sister Kate. I am looking for these tracks just to be a whole lot better than the one that I first put up there, Sister Kate, because I've had time to grow. I have had time to learn a lot of stuff from a lot of different people that know the business of music and audio production, and I have gotten a lot of instruction from them. So therefore, this here project should be a whole lot better than that first project. And I'm going to ask you to tell me if it's not better than that first project, then I need to go back and do a whole lot of study. I need to regroup in a whole lot of areas. If I hadn't improved none in over there about 20 years, if I haven't improved in 20 some years, I need to go back and need to start completely over again. So we just saying that, and we thank God for y'all, and just keep a lookout, keep praying for Midiman as well, and all the stuff that I'm involved in right now. Let's pray for Junior Walker and the Gospel Tritone. We're going to continue to try to go ahead on and do what we're supposed to do as a music production team. Like I said, we will have some engagement sometime, someplace, somewhere, somehow. But we're not going to just consistently be running in and out of different venues talking about performing, because we are not that type of group. But when we do perform, we will try to get it recorded, videotape, so we can share with our cyber friends and our close buddies and the one that support us. We will do that for certain. So with that being said, this is Midiman saying, whatever you get into. If God ain't in it, please, man, please, sir, come on out of it, because it's going to come to nothing. Until the next broadcast, next Bible study, next video, whichever comes first, this is Midiman saying peace and good night.